The Scared Angles Maison is sponsoring Saints Perpetua and Felicity in today's Lent Madness matchup. Perpetua was a 22-year-old married nursing mother who was martyred in Carthage in the 3rd century during the reign of Septimus Severus. Her slave Felicity, who gave birth to a baby in prison, was martyred alongside her. The story of their last days was written down in an autobiographical text. Perpetua should be admired not just as a martyr, but also as a writer. She is one of the first Christian female writers before the 4th century whose works have survived. Even though Perpetua and Felicity knew that they would be arrested and martyred just for being Christian, these brave women never denied Christ. After their arrest, they were placed in a dungeon, and Perpetua had several visions. In one, she saw a golden ladder guarded by a dragon. She climbed it anyway, and at the top she found herself in a green meadow with many white-robed figures. In their midst was a shepherd who welcomed her. When she woke up, Perpetua understood that martyrdom was inevitable. The narrator of her story writes about the end of her life as she was in the arena with a wild cow. All the prisoners were to be slain with the sword, and they went to the center of the arena, first exchanging a farewell kiss of peace. The others died unmoving and silent, but when the awkward hand of the young executioner bungled her death stroke, Perpetua cried out in pain, and she guided his hand to her throat. Her bravery in the arena inspired many more to learn about Christianity. Clearly, the best part about voting for Perpetua and Felicity is that you get 2 women for the price of 1. There is also an added bonus of hearing their names mentioned regularly because they are part of the Eucharistic prayer number 1. But most importantly, they give us a wonderful example of courageous fearlessness. The Bravehearts Maison is sponsoring Mary Magdalene, one of the faithful women who traveled with Jesus throughout his ministry and who is arguably his most devoted disciple. Mary was from a prosperous fishing village on the Sea of Galilee, and she had enough financial independence to help pay some of Jesus' expenses as he moved from town to town, healing and preaching. According to most gospel accounts, Mary Magdalene stayed to watch Jesus' crucifixion, even when many of his male disciples did not stick around to the end. Even more importantly, Mary was the first witness to the resurrection of Jesus. She went to the tomb to anoint Jesus' body on Easter morning, and she found it empty. According to the Gospel of John, she saw a man nearby and thought he was the gardener, but as soon as he said her name, Mary knew it was Jesus. Jesus then sent her to go tell the good news of his resurrection to Peter and John. So in the 14th century, Bernard Clairvaux gave her the name Apostle to the apostles, because she was the first one to give the news to the rest of the disciples. Mary Magdalene is often shown in Western and Eastern artwork holding a red egg. According to legend, Mary Magdalene's story about Jesus' resurrection was challenged by the Roman Emperor Tiberius. When he insisted that no one could rise from the dead any more than an egg could turn red, she picked up an egg from the table and it turned red. Today, Eastern Rite Christians honor the story by coloring Easter eggs bright red. Mary Magdalene is a wonderful example of how we all need to share the good news of Jesus with everyone we meet. And she could also serve as wonderful inspiration for making super cool Easter eggs. Today's choice is a tough one. I'll bet you want to hear more stories about Mary Magdalene and Perpetua and Felicity. But you only have one vote, so choose wisely.